funkadelic, lyrics apropos, standing on the verge of getting it on. Yes.
What an intro.
Indeed.
What an intro.
Yeah, you know, look up the lyrics. It's good stuff. All right,
absolutely.
Alex G here with you. Reese in the house.
Present.
We got Noah on the ones and twos. I'm just kidding. Let's see. We'll bring up Skeet here in a bit. Here, one of our Discord mods, kind of filter over some Discord questions for us. But today we're going to do a little more casual vibe. Obviously, on the recent Alex shows, generally kind of a lot of FUD busting and or clearing up of things from the latest couple of weeks since David and Dan's video update. And for all of those of you who are not aware, we're going to continue on that format where we'll do kind of the larger scale platform updates in video format on a monthly basis. And then Reese and I will try to take the bi-weekly approach on the Twitter Spaces and or Discord Clubhouse situation. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. I know it has been an eventful couple of weeks, we'll say. So
hasn't it?
Yeah, you know, it wouldn't be Vivi without some drama.
Without a couple curveballs, yeah.
So that is to say, you know, obviously we don't take any of that lightly. A couple of things actually we do want to touch on out of the gate. I think we did. The video came out from Dan and David like immediately after, was pre-recorded on the Friday, came out I think the Monday or the Tuesday, and then kind of like over the weekend the bot exploit thing, not the bot exploit, sorry, the gem exploit thing happened. We think we've basically cleared that up. I know some of you are still kind of caught in the web of investigation of those accounts that were disabled for buying off market. I think we're waiting to get some more answers back from legal on how we're going to approach either re-enabling those accounts or further investigation, because I think, as you may have heard David mention in the post Gary Baseman Twitter space, that there was some, it was a tangled web, and some guy essentially we kind of tracing it back, the exploit itself back to one person. So a lot of that is a digital forensics that needs to be done.
Yes.
So bear with us.
Yep, and we are, just a little colour there, we are working with the New Zealand Cybercrimes Unit. So we are kind of just basing this on their advice. So, but just a bit of reassurance that we are working to try and re-enable those accounts as quickly as possible. And really from all of us, a huge thank you for everybody who has helped with this investigation. After we put that request out, a lot of information came in. So huge appreciation to everybody who has provided that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. So I think since the last time we all spoke, not only have gem transfers, but collectible transfers have been disabled. We put a fairly lengthy statement on our Twitter, kind of explaining what that was about. Obviously, look, we've always tried to do our best to implement security measures in getting kind of bots on the front end. Obviously, the analogy or the analogy is dumb at this point, is to say whack-a-mole, in that it is, obviously got a little out of our hands, and so we needed to take some more drastic measures, realizing what new tactics these networks of bots and transferred accounts were going to in order to list bot walls or cell walls or whatever you want to refer to it as, and just generally kind of making drops or even the secondary market a fun experience for anybody. So we've taken the measures to not only disable the gem transfers as we had planned to anyway, but as we had announced on that video, we were going to implement all across the board KYC for a number of reasons. AML compliance as part of the ongoing trek towards MTL or payout, rather. but then also to make sure that we are compliant with New Zealand laws and other territories around the world, to make sure that this is, you know, a safe and compliant experience for everybody. Am I missing anything there, Reese?
No. I think the core of that is really a compliance thing. Aside from the, you know, obviously nefarious activities that can take place with those gems, we had to disable gem transfers anyway before Payout could go live. So yeah, that's really
so. Obviously,
the
there were some timelines changed as a result, right? So KYC, I think, is now prioritized along with the web platform and Payout. So we are, as mentioned in a tweet yesterday, just to clear up any FUD, none of this has been delayed. Well, further, I guess we should specify nothing has been delayed. We are still on track. The only thing that was, I think, maybe taken out of context is that the beta testing, bringing new people into the beta testing, was paused for a week while we were doing some API work, which is exactly the point of beta testing, is that we find out where some flaws are, or maybe some optimizations could be made, so that we're making sure to get the throughput of information between the KYC provider and our internal systems, so that we can then enable the payout functionality for it. So we just pause that. It's not setting back the timeline at all. It's just really just finding out where the optimizations needed to happen and attacking those accordingly. So that also said, we need to be obviously better in making sure any of those types of updates are kept within the walls or the house, the confines of the VV team, until we're ready to make an announcement in a forum like this, either an AMA or the official VV account, a Twitter account, the Medium blog, etc. So we'll just do a better job of making sure we're kind of circling the wagon, so to speak, because it is a little difficult, though not an excuse. It is a little difficult because we're all kind of individuals working from our homes everywhere around the world, right? So that there's not a lot of FaceTime that we get outside of a Zoom call or something like that. So we just need to be a little more buttoned up, and we apologize for freaking anybody out. But as mentioned in the Dan and David video, the priorities are to get MTL / payout done as soon as possible. And with that comes KYC for obvious reasons, but also the web platform, so that we can, and I think, Reese, you specified that perhaps web needed to be prioritized ahead of those two for purposes of KYC, correct?
That's correct, yeah. So the rollout of this whole feature, just to get it done, the web platform will go live first. And that's primarily, obviously, we want to get that live, but the KYC will take place through the web platform. I think there's some restrictions on what we can do KYC-wise in the app, like App Store restrictions. So it has to happen through the web platform. So the web platform will go live, then KYC will roll out. We'll keep people updated as to which actions will require KYC. Obviously, any sort of financial transaction, payout, that kind of thing needs it, but we're trying to reduce the barriers to entry, right? Which was kind of always our hesitation in implementing it early. So web platform, then KYC, and then we can activate the payout for all users. And that way we remain compliant with everybody. And that should all be completed by the end of this quarter.
Right. So, and again, so the timelines haven't changed from the last time we communicated them in the video. And now we're actually saying Q2. So, fingers crossed everything goes well. Compliance checks out, all of the throughput and load testing across the volume that we expect in that mechanism, goes through without a hitch, and we should be good to go. So Q2, let's just put it out there. Q2, fingers crossed. All right.
Yep.
Just to add a little more color on the KYC portion, I know there's been a lot of questions about KYC and how in-depth the KYC will be, and as you touched on, Reese, briefly about what actions you would be able to take in the app with or without KYC, and please expect an article from us outlining all of those, the entire KYC functionality as we get closer to launch. With all there's no need to speculate now, because I think there's still a lot of legalities to kind of comb through to make sure that we are communicating this correctly, and we don't want to kind of half-ass it, if you will. I don't want anybody to say on Twitter or asking me on Twitter and then I say something wrong, because I just don't know from a legal standpoint what the full scope of KYC is going to entail. But we are moving towards it, obviously, for any financial transactions, aka payout, and then any, I believe, market transactions within the app. It's just I don't know what the layers are and how many accounts you can KYC, for instance, what the age limit is. Obviously, our app is 13 plus, and anybody with an account will need to KYC their own account. But I don't know the particulars on that yet. So don't take any drastic actions, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, typically you would only be able to KYC one account per identity, being your identity. So probably prepare for that. And I know some people are questioning or concerned about the KYC for minors, but in terms of the actual data that we have, there isn't that many under 18s on the app, as a whole portion of our user base. So I don't think anyone will be that adversely affected, but as Alex said, we'll address it when we put out this article.
And also understanding that a lot of you have kids you like to share the experience with. Again, we'll have to make sure to fully communicate that as we get closer to the rollout.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Cool. I'm sure there might be more questions, and we'll bring some people up on stage to ask as we go, but I just want to get up these few key updates out of the way first. Excuse me, just had to drink some water. Payout, we've touched on, again, still on the roadmap for Q2. We are currently in Q2. So, let's get the damn thing done, is what I'm saying. I don't know,
Yep.
Dan, if you're out there, get that thing done. Because I'd really love to put out a tweet without 10 when cash out responses. Yes. That would be great. But I get it. It's been a long time. It's too long, and we're getting there. So please bear with us. Okay, I think that's it from the key Vivi side of the house updates, just in basically touching on the key issues of the last 2 weeks or so. We'll go through, some questions. I got plenty of questions from Twitter, and I think we got some of them in Discord, but you want to go on to the ECOMI side of the house for a few things?
Yeah. Just a couple of quick updates. So I did tweet yesterday that the bridge was almost complete. Now, I did get the live site for the bridge this morning, so I'll be testing that in the next 24 hours. And if all goes well, I'll put out some instructions sometime early next week so that everybody knows how that operates. But just to add some color there, I think people are under the impression we've somehow delayed in launching this bridge. Now, originally we were building our own bridge infrastructure. Then it became apparent that Immutable already had a bridge into the IMX marketplace. The problem with that bridge is while you can deposit into the IMX marketplace, they didn't actually, until today, have functionality to send ERC20 tokens from their marketplace into the VeVe app, for example, and between other layer 2 projects that are built on top. So this site actually enables that. That infrastructure has now been built for the entire Immutable ecosystem, and that's what we've really been waiting on. So once this is tested, that should be out next week, and that site does enable you to deposit to layer 2, withdraw from layer 2, and move your tokens between layer 2 wallets, so in and out of the only wallet in the VeVe app. So good to know that's around the corner as well. OKX seems to have run into some issues with their integration. I think trading is live on OKX at the moment, but deposits and withdrawals are still not until they fix this last bug. But it does sound like that's around the corner as well. And Gate.io, guys, regardless of how many times we've tried to reach their team to help them facilitate this swap or just re-enable withdrawals, we are so far failing in that. So if you have tokens stored on Gate.io, obviously they are restricting a whole bunch of countries in the next few days. So please contact their support just to see if you can somehow enable a withdrawal there for yourself. Otherwise, it will get a bit sticky. And just on that, I mean, we don't actually have a listing agreement with Gate.io. They renegade listed OMI 12 months ago, which is why this situation has been a lot harder to sort of overcome. But just to reiterate, please contact their support if you haven't heard anything or cannot access your tokens there. That's probably it on the OMI side for now. Let's hit some questions. We don't usually get to them this quick.
Yeah, keeping it cash. Obviously, we have a lot of questions, so I wanted to leave time to get to a bunch of them. Okay, so from Twitter, what are the plans for future drop schedules? Can we expect more or less per week by Q3 and Q4? Will drop frequency only increase if users increase? Remains to be seen, but I think generally the feeling is that we had always planned to have, as we onboard more licenses and more licensors rather, and more content, that we would need to kind of move to a more frequent drop schedule. Obviously, we're going to keep a keen eye on what the community thresholds are for that. But we had always, many times in the past, said we probably would have a drop every day at some point, if not multiple a day, and then it would be up to the community to choose what they want to buy. We don't see things that don't sell out as not being successful. I think maybe we've gotten so used to them selling out in less than a second, for various reasons, that I think, when something doesn't sell out immediately, it's like, oh, it's, Vivi's dead or some bullshit. But I think generally what we are aiming to do is have a very robust collectibles market and store. So that we can bring new people in, have stuff for them to buy, and kind of really span the wide range of licensors that we have, either in the queue or coming on board. So that's everything from our artist content to Marvel and Disney to Universal to MGM with Bond, etc., and whatever else we have in the hopper. So yes, we do. We will keep a keen eye on it, but the plan has always been to do more frequent drops as we kind of scale up the production teams as well as the licensing efforts.
For sure, and just there is also, there will always be a balancing game there between the frequency of drops and the edition sizes. So if the drops do increase to multiple drops per day, then I would assume the edition sizes may come down a bit just to maintain that collectability as well. But that's a David Yu decision.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Would like to know if we are going to be able to change the in-game name in the near future. I don't want to open another account and take a loss of all my pre-gathered MC people. I assume you mean change your username.
The username?
Yeah, the reason why that has not been possible is because of the absence of a KYC, right? We don't want people, doing, scamming people and changing their names to, avoid, investigation. Yeah. So I would imagine, don't quote me on this, but I imagine once we have KYC, I think that username will become a little more fluid because we'll be able to tie it to an individual and the account ID and verify that.
Yes.
Okay. Next, will it be possible to be whitelisted for Vvnfts by completing sets on other platforms that hold the same IP as Vivi in the future? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, my initial reaction is probably that.
But that said, will it be possibly quote unquote whitelisted for Vivi and completing sets on the Vivi platform for future releases by that same license? Yes, I think so. I think that's something that I'm focused on working towards future utility, and whether that means folding that somehow into MCP, or maybe just off the top of my head, if there's additional like drop raffle tickets that would be afforded to complete set holders of, let's say, the Matt Gondek weapons racks, for instance, and then that gives you access to his next drop, perhaps. Those are all things that I think we're kind of generally working towards. We want to make sure that the holders of the specific, either artists or IP, really passionate fans are somehow rewarded outside of the kind of general MCP mechanics. So yes, but not on other platforms. I don't see that happening. All right. When can we expect attachments for our digital collectibles? I assume you mean accessories. I know that's on the roadmap for this year. In fact, we've had discussions with licensors already about kind of designing some of those things. So I think just stay tuned on that. We obviously have some bigger fish to fry. But yes, that is definitely on the roadmap for this year. Okay, who has the best job at Vivi? I'd say it's me, mainly because I get either a good balance of hate and love from our beloved Vivi community. Oh, and I say a balance between love, hate, and people that think I'm support. So I definitely have the best job. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you can take that one.
All right.
I'm just a volunteer.
the digital nomad volunteer, Reese. Where are you off to again? You're off to some foreign land in the near future?
Yeah,
Singapore. Yes,
Singapore.
Very cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen my brother in almost 3 years now, and he has a 1-year-old daughter who I'm yet to meet. So yeah, going to do some
fantastic. Well, have fun and try to make sure to keep your laptop and Discord on so I can hit you at any time.
Oh, great. I'll still be working. Don't you worry. Just on opposite time zone.
Yeah.
So I hope you're good with the delay. Yeah.
All right, ECOMI question for Reese. What will the buyback funds be used for if not buybacks? I feel that's maybe a little bit of a loaded question, but...
Yeah, somewhat, but that's fine. So I guess I'll preface this. I think a lot of this buyback talk has come from my AMA with Akil a couple of weeks ago, when we were talking about buybacks and the current situation. Now, it's my bad. I absolutely should have clarified this at the time. The buybacks are not off the table. We're currently in talks with some US securities law experts to try and see, I don't want to say how we could skirt that law, but how we can possibly rejig things to still utilize that feature of the ecosystem. If they don't get used for buybacks in some hypothetical future, then we find another way to use that fund to benefit the token. And we've already kind of come up with quite a few mechanisms there that are possibilities. So I guess I really just want to say that, that conversation was intended to bring to light a few of the issues that we're currently facing with buybacks, but not to say that they're off the table. And also just to reiterate that we're not just sitting here resting on our laurels and pegging all hopes and dreams to the buyback. There's so many other ways that we can utilize the token or utilize mechanisms within the ecosystem to benefit the token. And rather than just sitting and waiting for a green light, that's really what we're trying to build in. So hopefully have some more information on that too, guys, sometime in the next... Actually, I'm not going to put a timeline on it because we'll need legal approval, but just know that it's all being worked on so that we can benefit the token until we have some more legal clearance on the buybacks.
Okay, speaking of hypotheticals, what happens if, hypothetically, the OMI reserve wallet hits 0? I don't know what that means.
Just the current setup. Over time, obviously, there's a lot of tokens in the reserve wallet, and as the current system mechanics work, when gems are purchased, tokens are moved from reserve to vault. When those gems are spent, those tokens get burnt. The whole idea being that it does eventually deplete that reserve. Now, hypothetically, I don't think we'll see it, right? I think there's other mechanisms that we'll put in place before that takes place that will extend that reserve life. And really, the design there is so that we can continue to support other platforms utilizing that reserve. So hopefully a bit more info to you guys on that front soon as well. But we are definitely in the works of just rejigging things to be a much more positive ecosystem for the token.
All right, lots of people asking about Cleopatra and Amelia Earhart, House of Cards, Rewind Collectives, getting the whole animation update. Yes, that is still on the table. The original cards that are currently, that were in the app from last year were in a bit of a different format. So they just need to be refactored to get the animation like the recent set has. So that's still on the table. Don't worry, that's still coming. Moving on.
Speaking of animations, while we're on the topic, I believe there's another vehicle that people are waiting for.
Yeah, they're still waiting, and so am I. So I don't have a hard expectation. I believe it's supposed to happen this week, but we'll leave it at that because every time I give a date or I get bites me in the ass. But yes, that is still happening. Next question. Can we get a hard date? No. But can we get a hard date on when the nightly... Oh, no, I can answer this one. Ooh, hard dates. Look at this. Can we get a hard date on when the nightly delisting will start happening? That's already actually started.
Yes.
It has. So I don't think we actually touched on that too much in the bot conversation. So, thank you, everybody, including some of our Immutascan sleuths, if you will, who have been sending suspicious activity my way and Vivi's way to kind of generally help us kind of untangle the web that a lot of these bot farms and networks have created. Rest assured that that is not, although we do appreciate it, is not news to us. We have people in-house that are looking at that data as well. I think just generally since we've been on L2, it's become a little more apparent just how tangled these things are. And the untangling of them is equally as, I think, mind-boggling. So unfortunately, it's a bit of a manual process. So we have people here basically all day, every day, are going through and identifying these and then sending them to a queue for nightly delisting. So that investigation is part of it, and the verification of that investigation on the tech side for delisting is the second part of it. So those things are going to happen on a rolling basis. You'll continue to see things be delisted as we identify the larger farms, and obviously we're going off through the larger farms first, just to make sure that they don't continue moving things around by selling $20,000 Mermicornos, etc.
Yep.
So that's it.
That's it. And I might just take a moment there as well. I know a lot of the fam has found hero cards lately, HRO, things like that. If you are ingratiated in their community, maybe just broach this topic with them too. Let them prepare, because this seems like something that will come for the entire industry, and collectively, the stronger we can all be, the better this is going to be for everyone. Yeah. So,
and also let me I saw a fair amount of chatter today. I think, shout out Omi the Clown, who set up like a bot
Allison Vivi.
Yeah, who was kind of identifying certain collectibles being moved at odd price points. Don't worry about the fact that I know some of you, I don't know if I should be admitting that we know this, but some of you are still moving things around because you just still want your families involved. We get it. We're not going to flag any of those types of moves as nefarious. It's usually when they're attached to like X number of moves within an hour period that we then kind of start to untangle the web, right? So I appreciate the concern and the kind of concern about it being a quote unquote witch hunt, but we're not just going and axing accounts. We have to really investigate these, not only because it's the right thing to do, but legally we just can't just, see that there's some Immutascan data that looks a little off and then just chop it off at the head. Like, we have to really do our due diligence.
Sure.
So, moving on. Let's get some people on stage here. And one of those people who was part of that robust discussion, I think we might as well bring up, since he's always part of robust conversation. Mr. Foster Hilt, hello.
What's going on, Alex? What's going on, Reese? Thanks for having me up. Huge shout out to Omi the Clown and Pyro and the guys.
Pyro for sure.
Yeah, you guys know who you are. I'm not gonna go out of my way to dox you. We don't need the bots coming after you. But you guys are doing the Lord's work for sure. And obviously all hands on deck. And when we pull together as a community, it's just it's a positive thing all around. So I look forward to these things being addressed, and it should be positive moving forward. So that's good. So I got a question for Reese on the Omi side. I know there's a lot of focus. We know the roadmap for Q2. We know that the web app is coming out first, and then we know MTL KYC should follow. That seems very logical to me. Something that I actually had you on for my channel a while back, though, was the OUP. And I know that that is something that a lot of us OMI holders are very much looking forward to, giving a reason for the token to flourish. And we know, based on the most recent AMA with David, that we have exchanges probably coming this year, but they've almost been put on a back burner until, at least in my opinion, we have some utility, whether it be staking or anything else. Do we have an idea, and not necessarily asking for timeframes, but do we have an idea where we stand with the OMI utility side?
Yeah, so just before we get into that, the exchanges thing isn't a probably, it's a definite. We've got them in the works. It's more of we're just trying to implement a more structured rollout so that when we hit that momentum, there is a real demand for the token. That's kind of what David was trying to say, I believe. Now, the OUP, we have been redeveloping based on all of the feedback that we collected months ago now, and the OMI utility features and things are in development, or at least the initial stages of them. So, I'm confident in saying that we'll release the next version of the OUP this quarter. We're just really trying to balance all of the systems. But I personally think that what we have now, after all of the feedback we've collected, is exactly what we need to drive real demand to that token and really to incentivize staking, right? And incentivize the use of the token for either staking it or spending it within the app. So very excited to get that out to everybody. But yeah, it's under development as we speak.
Okay, fair enough. That was the main question. I'm sure a lot of people have questions, so I'll step down. But thank you so much for hosting these regularly for the community, and look forward to the updates to come.
Thanks, Foster.
Man. Really appreciate it.
All right, let's move on to Vibes. VV Vibes. You gonna give me hard times about FAFE or?
Nah. I appreciate it, man. Honestly, I have a huge amount of respect for both of you guys. Obviously, sticking your necks out there, especially you, Alex, occasionally being on the front lines, taking the brunt of the community backlash, including myself. So I appreciate it, and you guys are both awesome. And what's up to everyone in the Vivi fan below me right now? I had two quick questions. So when the website comes out, will there be a gem portal for people to buy gems directly through there, so it's cheaper for both people on either end of the transaction?
Yep. Yes. That's, in fact, that's kind of the main point.
I figured as much. So I was like, because I wasn't sure how soon. It sounds like the website is a priority, which is awesome. But if that was going to get pushed out later, I was kind of like, hey, could we just throw up a gem portal up on the omi.me website? We could just we don't need the website, we just need a portal, right? So that was kind of another idea. But the second question is, and to be honest, I'm not that educated on the whole OMI to NFT thing, but are we still on track for that? Because I know there were some concerns that I've kind of heard in the community and other spots where it's it could get a bit hairy with OMI to NFT later on down the line this year. Potentially ECOMI might have to be an exchange or something kind of is going on with the fact that I don't know the details. I'm sure Reese, you probably understand. You can probably connect it better than I can. But is that actually a thing, or is that a potential hurdle that Vivi could run into?
No, because most of the OMI to NFT integration, at least to start with, is going to be peer-to-peer. We're just we're the platform that facilitates that. We're not responsible for that transaction, and we're not sort of taking the payment or anything like that. So no, peer-to-peer transactions will operate as they do on any sort of marketplace. So that should be fine. Shouldn't see any issues there.
Cool.
Awesome. That's it. No FA, no FE questions. Thank you, both of you guys.
No worries, man. Appreciate it.
Hopefully I cleared most of those issues up. I know there was still some lingering questions about stamps or whatever, but I think I hope I cleared that up for you.
Yeah, it did a bit. I still have a couple of questions, but right now is not the time for it. So I'm more than happy to shoot you some questions privately or something like that. So
hit me on Twitter. I'll try to do the best I can.
Appreciate it. You guys take care.
All right, take care.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Just on that note, if anyone hasn't seen that article, it is on the VV blog.
Oh,
yes. In case you missed it. We
did
draw.
Let's see. Well, Skeet,
pin some things?
Yeah, well, I'll pin some things. Well, Skeet is giving us some questions from the Discord. I'll pin some stuff to the top. How's that?
Go for it. Yep, perfect. How are you, Skeet?
Hey, I'm all good. Yourselves?
Yeah, well, sir. Well.
Sounds. So I've been gathering a few. To be fair, quite a lot of them have been covered as more and more questions have gone through, and as you guys have given a bit of an update. But there's still a few that I've got here. So the first one I want to start with came from E3, and that was more to do with like KYC and accounts. Do we have any hard confirmation on confirming more than one account, as it were?
No, we touched on this just a bit. We don't have full confirmation on that stuff yet, as we're still kind of working through the legalities and what we're actually going to come out of the gate and communicate. But I think just generally, as Reese mentioned, KYC is generally for, confirming one account per ID or whatever.
Yeah.
We just don't
have typically how it works. Yeah.
Perfect. One from Miss Well Whisperer was checking in to see when we can search for new users, like in-app feature specifically.
Yeah, that's to be honest, move down the list so that we can get this payout feature in the web wallet and all those. The web platform. So look, they're the absolute priorities at the moment to roll this system out.
No worries.
So yeah, I can't give you a timeline, but I'm going to go as far as saying it probably won't be this quarter, so that we can roll this other stuff out.
Okay, cool. I think this may kind of fall in the similar bracket in terms of what's going on with, or do we know what will happen with the NFTs that are locked in the accounts of people that may have had nefarious activities? But my gut was based on, as it's a current ongoing issue, but I thought I'd ask.
Yep. Alex, do you want to cover this? Or
actually, go ahead. Sorry, I'm still looking for tweets.
No, that's fine. So I guess first off, any account that is restricted or disabled, we need to give that account, a certain amount of time to potentially KYC in case they were falsely flagged. Anyone that is, once they're sort of investigated properly and we can prove unequivocally that these are bots or nefarious actors, the longer term intention is to reclaim those and probably use them for promos. Maybe they get burnt, that kind of thing. But I think from a legal standpoint, we would need to wait for at least 12 months to elapse from the time of that account being disabled to the time that we could make any of those actions, just to sort of justify what we're doing legally as well. So at the moment, those accounts are disabled and the collectibles stay there. As soon as I have more color there to add, we'll share it with people, but I think that's a pretty safe assumption at this point.
Perfect. I know you mentioned about Q2. Is it likely that there's a chance for the IMX market to come in Q2?
Assuming you mean interoperability, those features, all the OUP and OMI stuff, that development is kicking off this quarter, but I'm not sure if interoperability will be available by the end of it. For the same reason, right? We're really trying to prioritize this payout feature. And from a smart contract point of view, I think I mentioned this last time, but IMX is still yet to integrate with OpenSea or vice versa, which presumably is what most people want. So until that happens, it's a bit redundant. The IMX marketplace is obviously an option, but I think everybody would prefer OpenSea. And then it's a matter of working in those smart contracts so that the royalties can still be split and paid to licensors, all those things. So it's in development. I don't think we'll see it this quarter.
Perfect. Without being specific, King Reach was just kind of asking any anime in the works without necessarily being specific as to what or when, or just is that something that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's always been kind of in the works. Obviously, I think we've touched on it in the past. Some of the licenses are going to be localization dependent. So as we continue to kind of expand our presence across the regional interests and regional licensing, will need to be localized in those specific languages before we kind of make any real headway. But other things are definitely still in the works. And then we have some kind of, as I've said before, another Alexism anime adjacent things still happening, whether that's like Voltron or any of that type of, I guess, American style, anime style stuff. We are definitely still working towards, but I think I've noticed, conversations happening with a few other brands that we'll hopefully can see by the end, hopefully by the end of this year, obviously. But yeah, it's definitely in the works, because I know definitely Dan and David are big anime heads.
Yep, for sure.
The,
it's also just from a licensing point of view that there's even more hoops to jump through when you're dealing with sort of Japanese licensors or
yeah,
like
exactly. And it's not only hoops, but it's very complex licenses, because they tend to be have different rights for different things across different territories. So a lot of those discussions are ongoing.
Yeah.
Perfect. Appreciate it.
Okay.
That wraps us up. No worries. Thank you, sir.
All right. Let's see. Let's get some more people up on stage. For those of you who I know by name, I'm going to try to get some new people up, but I'll get to you eventually. I see you, Steph and Austin, but let me get some others who we may not have heard from before. Okay.
Yeah, big shout out to everyone for joining today too.
Yes, absolutely. Vvnfts,
always a pleasure.
Hello. Do you have a question? Vvnfts.
Might be on mute.
On mute? Okay. We'll move on then to...
Oh,
yes, are you there, Vvnfts? Okay. Okay. Let's move on to Kobe. Kobe Collects. How are you, man? You there, Kobe? All right. Everybody's having some mic troubles today. Is it Twitter or is it me? You're on mute, Kobe.
Might have been Vivi then.
All right. Well, then let's just go to
next one.
Yeah, let's go to stuff. It really takes these people a long time to connect, doesn't it? Hey, Doctor of Stuff, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir. Hello.
Hi, gentlemen. Hey, I just had two quick questions for you. Thanks for bringing me up. So I've noticed, several people on some of these drops that haven't sold out, where they'll hit the buy now button and it'll say that all the collectibles have been allocated, but that buy now button is still open and other people are hitting it and making it available. So I was wondering if Vivi sometimes, and maybe it's part of this bot sweep or something, if they're shadow banning some of those accounts so that they actually can't hit the drop, or if that's just like a glitch in the system that's occurring.
I don't think it's either. We're definitely not shadow banning. I think what that is maybe like a failed transaction on part of somebody who was blocked or didn't have the gems or exited out of the purchase process, and then the thing went back into the queue, which is the whole process behind what a rebound is. Although I think generally some changes that we've made have made it so that was happening a little more, not on the 4-minute mark, for instance, that some people were trying. So, but it's definitely not shadow banning.
Okay. Yeah, not shadow banning. One thing that might be happening there, just the relationship between the actual purchase process and our security systems. If you have a VPN on or something like that, that could be almost making it look like it's coming from the wrong place, which might flag and then reject. So maybe just try that if it's affecting you and see if it makes a difference. And otherwise, we'll look into it further. But I think it's probably a combination of those two things.
Okay. So, and just to give better clarity, so it has happened to me. We have my wife's account and my account, and she was able to hit, and I'm hitting buy, and it's not there. But then she hits buy again and could buy another collectible. So I was like, I didn't understand it. I was like, because I'm obviously trying to snipe things on the market, right? And if I'm refreshing constantly, I don't know if that activity is getting flagged as potential bot sniping or something.
Actually, it could be. If you are constantly refreshing that screen, second after second after second, that might be.
Okay.
Because it's, these systems are designed to try to identify anything that is or could potentially be inhuman, which is one of the things that bots tend to use. So yeah, maybe just play around with those things.
Okay.
Try to hit them without that and see if it goes through. And if not, hit the support team. They might be able to look into it a bit more in depth.
Okay. And then just one other quick question. So regarding the Dan in the last AMA, recorded AMA, had talked about these stricter AML KYC laws that are coming out of New Zealand. And I tried to do some research, and the latest thing that I could come up with was from July 2021, which is more about like beneficial ownership type laws. So like, I don't know if it's laws that are like in the works of potentially being passed that you guys are trying to address. And you don't have to touch on this now, but like I would love if someone could just send me that information, because like that's one of my areas of expertise, and I'd love to be able to break it down on a video for people and help explain it and help kind of explain that process and why things can take so long.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a very good point. Send me a message, and if I can get a hold of it, I will send it your way. But just as we kind of touched on earlier, now that we're introducing the payout feature, these and really we're expecting the industry to only come under more scrutiny. So it's really a matter of future-proofing the business, and also why the rollout of KYC has to come before payout. So yeah, I think New Zealand has come out recently and really drawn that line in the sand to say they want to be the toughest country to launder money through. And I think the most recent amendment I saw actually went out a couple of weeks ago, and it looks like they're adding further changes based on some community feedback and things that they put out. So yeah, it's really an effort to remain compliant and then to future-proof the business as the user base grows.
Awesome.
But if I find that document, I'll send it your way.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I'll jump down.
No problem.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, let's try Kobe again. Are you there?
I am, yeah. Thank you, guys.
No,
Just had two quick questions. So, one, should we expect some licensors to want to keep their IPs on the Vivi platform, or do we think that eventually all of our NFTs will be interoperable?
Eventually, I would say yes. Initially, yeah, I think you should expect that. Right? We've kind of alluded to this in the past, that not the smaller licensors, but the independent artists, people who are in full control of their own IP, are more likely to enable these things, right? A lot of those artists, Jermaine and Ron English, and those guys already release NFTs on OpenSea. So they're very comfortable and familiar with it, and I think they'll be the first to act. When it comes to the bigger licensors, I mean, it's better for them to have interoperability from a brand awareness standpoint and an accessibility standpoint. So we are of the belief that they will all elect interoperability at some point, but it will definitely take some of them longer than others. The bigger companies have much more much larger legal processes to approve these things too. So I think it'll be a progressive rollout.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
No problem.
I have one more question. This might have already been touched on, and we might have already had the announcement, but in one AMA, David Yu mentioned that his mornings were dedicated. The start of the morning was dedicated to emailing and taking phone calls from 3 of your major partners: Marvel, DC, Disney, and then he said one other one.
I get nervous anytime David's name is mentioned.
I'm just wondering if that was announced yet, or if we're still waiting for that major partner to be announced.
I mean, who knows what he was referring to? Yeah, I mean, look, there's all kinds of things in the works. I just don't know what he was referring to at that point. Some obviously we can't. If you haven't heard about it, we're not going to announce it here because it'll be like a full press release, outreach, blog article, etc. So,
yeah.
But I'll make sure to ask him for you.
Yeah, see what you get out of him. It may have been.
Hey, David, this
Coca-Cola.
guy was asking on the AMA, what are other big IP was going to be? Can you tell us? No, just kidding.
Yeah,
I appreciate the attempt, Kobe. I appreciate it.
Any leak will do. Any leak will do. It doesn't have to be that one.
Yeah, that's it. It may have been Coca-Cola if it was pre-Christmas, that AMA.
I think that leak was something that you have every day, or you drink every day, or there was some
That's
other.
right.
Yeah,
whatever.
some other
Youism
around that.
Yeah.
Youism. You gonna you.
You gonna you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Kobe. Let's move on to
Thanks,
the 9.
Yeah.
Hello, the 9.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Hey, hello. Thank you guys for having me up here. Glad to see the VEVE community doing another AMA. Hello, VEVE community. I'm glad all of us are here, over 2,000 people. We fucking rock.
That we do.
Now, my question here is, I was in a voice chat yesterday, space chat on Twitter with my VV heads. There was about 160 people, all communicating with each other, brainstorming and things of that nature. My question is, what what is the plan, or if there is a plan on developing a sort of game type VV verse or slash maybe a different video type of game in a sense, not actually a video game, but like something that you can interact with, kind of like social media sense, but where you have your avatar and then you're walking around. In a sense, it's a VV verse, right? Is what people were
Yeah.
we're hoping.
You,
So
you may have heard that we're working towards something called the VV.
yes. So yes, go ahead,
That
guys.
will include walking around.
So what you're asking when?
When?
Pretty much.
When?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look, in the short term, I think the priority is adding more utilities to our NFTs, tying them into more real world things with that promo code. Obviously, we just added controllability, more drivability to the vehicles, things like that. But as you are already aware, that added layer of gamification will really come with the VV-verse. I don't have an update on that, Alex. I don't know if you have.
I don't have an update on it either. Obviously, we have we're setting the big ticket items. I say priority first. Obviously, and that's the Q2 priorities of web, payout, KYC. So I think everybody could probably agree, outside of interoperability and only the NFT, that those are the most important things to get done, and then everything else is going to be back to the fun stuff. In terms of utility, though, those conversations continue to happen with our licensors. Either in regards to the recently added functionality of the promo code for like physical digital stuff, or movie tickets. Buy a movie ticket, get an NFT. Those types of things. Those are all conversations that we're having currently, and we look forward to kind of rolling out in the coming months on some of those things.
And the guys,
yeah.
the guys were saying, like, inside of a VV-verse where you could kind of like, create a gathering of like, hey, come to my showroom. I have a movie theater here because I have maybe partner status or such and such. I get a Disney subscription. Hop in my showroom. Come join my movie theater. Let's all watch together, chit chat, watch something on Disney in the VV-verse. The options are endless. We can have like Twitter Spaces inside of the VV-verse and like all kinds of good stuff, man. So that was really, I was so pumped about that. That was something so awesome when I heard it last night. So I just wanted to share that with 2,000 people here. Vivi, baby, let's go.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. Skeet, what else we got from Discord? Skeet, you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you, Karen. I'm just collating a couple.
Okay. I'll look at Twitter quickly. Will we be at Decon UK? Yes, we will be coming to Decon London. I think that was announced on the David and Dan video. And just to make it a little more real for you, my flight is booked, so you better get on it, Reese.
I'll be there. Okay. Already. Don't you worry about me. Blowing in. Do we want to? We've touched on the other events, right? I think we're hitting San Diego.
Yeah,
right
now I've only really announced the two decons. Everything else is still kind of in negotiations and discussions. That we hope to be at both Comic-Cons. It's not confirmed yet. And then we are working on a potential kind of smaller scale event here in LA in the coming months, so we'll keep you updated on that as well. Let's see here. We don't have too much time left.
We'll get a couple questions in, and then I guess we've got to talk about this Coca-Cola drop. Moon Knight just came out.
Moon Knight, yeah, that show's pretty good, man. Obviously I'm a Oscar Isaac fan. I'm Always interested to see anything he comes out in. So Moon Knight came out, part of the MCU, and then the Coke Starlight is happening on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And that's four pieces in that drop, blind box, and they all have some level of animation to them. It's actually pretty cool. I have not tried Starlight yet, though I hear it has a bit of a black cherry vibe to it. I don't know. It tastes like space, apparently.
Okay.
Like, apparently space tastes like black cherry.
I
can. Do you want another drop?
Yeah. Right. Surely the fan wants another drop.
Sure. Let's fire this. Yeah, let's fire this one off. And I'll pin it to the top here.
Are we going to tweet? Okay.
Yeah, just tweeted. There we go.
What do we run at VV? Oh, Batman Black and White, Series 6.
Series 6. The return of Batman Black and White, finally. Some of those beautiful, beautiful DC statues made from famous sculptor models are coming Saturday at 8 a.m., I believe.
Yep.
If I didn't read my own tweet.
That's what it looks like, yeah, according to your tweet.
Yeah. Okay. So Series 6, 4 more stunning premium digital statues from the legendary collectible line Batman Black and White returns Saturday, 9th April, 8 a.m. PT. More info in tomorrow's drop article. So yes, good stuff. So drop tomorrow, which is the Inhumans featuring first appearance of Yelena Belova, White Widow. Into Saturday, Batman Black and White. Sunday with Starlight, yes. And yeah. I think we have
I think there's one more Sunday, isn't there?
One more on Sunday. Should we give it to him now?
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe we get some hundreds first. Throw up those hundreds.
Wait, do we have hundreds back?
I don't know. Mine never changed. I don't know where everybody else got colored hearts, but I'll do it for everyone. There you go.
Oh, you haven't updated your Twitter app.
No, I don't. I like.
Well, I'll say it so that I don't stack two tweets back to back. But let me just read it to you, and then we'll tweet it in 20 minutes or so. In celebration today in the U.S. is the beginning or opening day of the Major League Baseball season. Go Dodgers! In commemoration, the USPS is putting out a "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" stamp that was originally released in 2008 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the song "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," of course. And so this digital stamp art coincides with the opening of the National Postal Museum exhibit, "Baseball, America's Home Run." That drops Sunday, April 10th at 8 a.m. Pacific. That's a single piece drop, beautiful old school looking stamp. I'm sure you can probably easily find it since it's a stamp that already exists out in the real world, but I will put out the tweet with the visual in about 20 minutes or so. But let's go ahead and get a couple more questions before we wrap this bad boy up. Let me bring up a few people here just so we can have them ready to go.
Hope everyone enjoyed those little...
I'm just kind of randomly pressing request or accepting requests, so there's no favoritism here. Let's see. Luis, how's it going, man?
Hey, brother, how are you? Can you hear me up?
Yep, I got you.
Yeah, thank you for having me up, Reverend Alex, Reeve. Shout out to you guys. Well, I just got a quick question. We were talking about yesterday in Spanish Spaces. Shout out to all the people from Vivi and Nene for the Spanish community right here, right now. I just wanted to ask right now, guys, what are the measures taken ASAP for Vivi for the bot problem? I know that you addressed that topic on this AMA, but can you tell us what the measurements are to take in ASAP for Vivi, just the community to learn now?
Sure. Alex, you want to...
I'm sorry, Luis, just to make sure I understand the question. You want to know what measures are being taken to battle the bots?
Yeah, just in the right order, just for the community notes, because I just entered too late to this AMA, and I just wanted to hear about what are measures taken right now for Vivi for the bot problem.
Oh, okay. Well, just to kind of recap then for you.
Yeah,
This is why you got to get here on time, Luis, man. Come on.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm right now under my desk in my office.
Yeah. Oh, nice. All right. Just so quickly, so we can get to some other questions. We just put an article. It's pinned to the top. We talk about gem transfers and collectible transfer disabling. That is helping us, get some time to kind of unravel some of the bot farms going off not only internal data but Immunoscan data, finding out how people are transferring things around, etc. That's in addition to our security layers with our security layer with our security partner that is constantly being tweaked. Obviously, we wish it was a little more effective than what has been put in place thus far. But I think the measures of disabling transfers until we get a KYC in place, which is that next measure, will go a long way in slowing the activity down. I know that, speaking for myself, I have got more drops in the last week than I have in, 5-6 months. So I don't know whether that means, we're kind of heading more off at the pass or what. But I think, any measure is a good measure at this point. I think we just need some more. We just needed more drastic measures, I guess, is the point.
Yep. Yeah. We also have people now dedicated to scrolling through the marketplace and seeing those sell walls, which makes it, sometimes very obvious, and then investigating and disabling those accounts too. So we are trying to attack everything from all fronts at the moment. And look, our security providers can also identify and block incoming requests from these suspicious accounts at drop time. So we do have an article about our bot protections and measures as well that is on the VV blog that really gives a bit more detail on that front if anybody wants to check it out.
Okay, thank you guys for the recap. And Reese, well, the invitation is open yet for the Spanish space. Well, maybe we can work it out.
Mi español es mierda, pero
Come on, man.
No, it's a Spanglish. It's a Spanglish space. Don't be afraid of that. The invitation is open, though.
Yeah, Luis is good about translating for you.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Right,
thank you, Reverend Alex.
Thank you. All right, garlic shrimp.
Delicious.
What's up? How's it going?
Good. All right, how you doing?
Good. I wanted to see if one thing, I'm sure everything gets brought to your attention, but one thing that has personally happened to me is I don't want to load gems into the app before I, secure a drop. And it says that, you can do it during the drop. And I've successfully done that. And I've also unsuccessfully done that. And it seems to be at random. You know what I mean? I just want to know if that's been brought to your attention and what. Okay, and if you can give any insight on what's happening with that or what's causing that possibly.
Yeah, I think at the point of sale, it's probably a load issue when there's a few 100,000 people trying to hit that drop and then secure the payment. Now they're supposed to be separated systems, and it shouldn't happen. We're kind of in a hard place at the moment until payout, right? Because if people preload gems and then they don't get the collectible, then they want a refund or some way to extract their money again. And until we have payout, that's not really a possibility, which is why we do say to people, you can buy them at the point of sale, but it is something the dev team are aware of and hopefully address.
Okay, thank you. And I just had one other quick question. I'm a big skateboarder in real life. When I didn't weigh as much as I do now, but I bought a couple of the skateboards from the Decon drop, and I was wondering if those are specifically meant to be art pieces, or if possibly one day in the future we could partner with a wheel company and have wheels, and a bearing company and have bearings, and we actually have the possibility of riding those skateboards in the VeVeVerse.
Absolutely, something I would love to see. So anything's a possibility. As to whether we'll see it anytime soon, I can't really speak to. But yeah, Lincoln Design Co, right? Those skateboards. Yeah, and I dare say we will continue to work with them through Decon anyway. So yeah, I think there's definitely
okay. Thank you very much. That was my questions. Thanks. Take care, guys.
Cheers, man.
All right, thank you. Dino, what's up, Dino?
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me up.
No worries.
Hey, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for like the clear FUD busting with that thing with Omi the Clown's like Twitter. I know I've had a ton of people ask me questions about that. Like, oh, am I going to get banned for moving something? So that was really clear and really awesome. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Oh, cool.
My question is, I want to know what specifically has caused delays, not like in like regards to laws, regulations, stuff like that. I know that's not your guys' fault, but more like in regards to like MCP, OUP, things like that, things that like are just like developed app updates. Like what has caused those delays? Because the community likes to like assume things, but it'd be better just to hear from you guys what's caused it.
For sure. So, look, I guess I would say that it's not so much a delay, but so many other things come up along this journey. I almost put out a big tweet thread about it the other day, but it just turned into a novel, so I didn't bother. But if people go back through the monthly updates that we have on the ECOMI blog, and you can kind of see where these things have taken place. So, for example, we launched the app, call it January last year. And we had this beautiful roadmap. Yep, everything was going swimmingly. All of that kind of thing. We expected 60,000 users in the first 12 months, and our roadmap was suited to that kind of user base. Now, within, call it 12 weeks, we had 350,000 users, and pretty much everything in the app broke. Right? So then we spent the next 2 months redeveloping, refactoring, trying to get the market back online, changing our databases, all of these kind of things. So in almost every instance, something like that has come up, right? Not long after we had the app back on, we had everybody scamming and spamming auction transactions. So we had to redevelop that system. And we had, there's always something that comes up that pulls our dev team, into more pressing issues, right, and priorities. Even the payout, for example, right? That was never part of the initial roadmap or plans. So the development of it had to try and squeeze in amongst all of these other things that were taking place. Fundamentally, that's really what it is. There's always, at least up until now, has been some other thing that came up. Same as like OMI integration, right? Once the app broke last year, it became very apparent that we needed a new blockchain partner. So then that whole, scope and development started, and we couldn't roll out OMI features until that was finished, and then that got delayed because of the minting issues with IMX and all of those kind of things. So it's really just because of the way that development happens and works, right? And you don't really know how long something will take to complete, test, and implement until you're actually building it. And then if something else comes up in the middle of it that is more pressing, you kind of drop everything to do that. A few other examples would be Marvel, right? That we obviously started rolling out their collectibles, and then the digital comics, right? That was another entirely new product line that had to be rolled out. And again, the dev time stopped on everything else to get that done, because when a licensor like Marvel asks you to do something, you smile and nod and you get it done. So there's just kind of been an ongoing.
Come on, Reese. There's already enough weird FUD about how we're just puppets for Marvel and Disney out there. I don't need you confirming it.
Real, right? We're a startup, right? Or we were
obviously that we knew that was going to be an amazing product, and so we were like, oh hell yeah, we want to.
Let's get it done, right? Yeah. So it's not, it's easy to focus on the pieces that get delayed and forget about all the pieces that have been added, right, and also been built in. So I guess that's the way I would address that at the moment.
No, totally, man. And thank you for that answer. As a YouTuber, I just deal with a lot of like the negative and positive sentiment. And I know that the sentiment of the community is really just important, right? That's even onboarding new users is like, if it's negative, it's not going to help. So may I humbly request, obviously you guys do whatever the hell you want, but maybe avoiding any like timelines as much as possible, just because if they are missed, people get disappointed. And that's what causes the most negativity. I love it. Even this AMA, I hear you guys like curbing your words, like, oh, I'm not going to say this timeline. Like I maybe I'm upsetting some people, but I would say that would actually help most people not to hear, a timeline that isn't met. Rather just get a tweet that says it's done,
For sure. But then, I completely understand that. And you're right. We have retired the word soon. We don't try to put timelines to things, but then the flip side, and I understand the frustration of that, is that then people don't know when things are coming or what's in the pipeline. So we are trying to balance everything and meet everybody's needs and expectations with a realistic timeline. But I agree. Our communication, I think, has improved to this point and will continue to on that front.
Totally has. Thank you guys so much for letting me make a suggestion and, you know, and for asking a question. Appreciate you guys.
No worries. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Right. Superstar Money. What up? What's up, guys? Is it one or
Hey.
both of you?
Hey, how you guys doing? It's just me. How you doing?
Well,
Just
really
me.
appreciate giving me the opportunity to come up. I think it's the first time I had an opportunity to come and ask a question. So thanks for letting
nice.
me in.
Welcome.
I had a question. I was going through the ECOMI the white papers, and it discussed gamification, and something that was really interesting was this idea that you'd be able to earn gems and even find collectibles in the gamification, I guess, VEVE-verse. So, I mean, I can come up with, I can use my imagination. I'm thinking maybe you would stake your collectible. You might lose it in a competitive match. Maybe you're just exploring areas and you can find them. What did you guys envision initially when you put that in the white paper? And maybe you can give us a little bit more insight on how that would look.
Yeah, I mean, I think you pretty well touched on it there, right? And this is more of a VEVE-verse thing. I think initially we thought we'd be able to do this in-app, but once we kind of realized there was a bigger metaverse opportunity there, we sort of shifted it to that side. So look, finding gems, I don't think will be a thing anymore, just because of the way the system is designed, but definitely trying to make the gameplay more fun, you know, by having these opportunities. There might be particular, we see this in a lot of games, but quests that you can go on that may earn you some accessories for your collectibles. For example, you might need to have a completed set of Batman Black and White to do the Batman game or things like that too. So we're adding utility to the NFTs and then trying to just make it more fun, really. Make it more fun, make it more enjoyable on that front, and whether that comes with, you know, airdrop collectibles or things you can find in game. That's kind of the intention. Now, the development on that will obviously take quite a lot longer. So, you know, people shouldn't sort of have unrealistic expectations that this is coming anytime in the next few weeks or anything. But longer term, we really want to build this encompassing ecosystem or metaverse that does reward people for participating.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
All right. We got time for a few more here, I think, before we have to get on other calls. Let's try Vvnfts one more time. He's still on stage. Did you get your situation figured out there, sir? Or miss?
Yeah, I did. Thank you, guys. So my question was answered. It was about the KYC and having the more than one account. So I'm just ride the wave and just wait for you guys to update with some more info. Thank you, though.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to one of my new favorite accounts here. My Collectibles is basically the nicest guy on YouTube, essentially.
Fantastic.
My Collectibles, you there?
It might be on mute.
Come on, mute. Oh, come on, I wanted to lament the Lakers season with you.
You've thrown it out there.
My Collectibles, all the way in Canada, not treating us well today. All right, let's try one or two.
Do you want me to run through the last three in the interim?
Yes, please. Yes, let's do that.
Cool. So just a query that came through to see if we were looking at releasing an open API for the developer community to see if they can like build some tools and transparency, if that was something on the agenda, and the chance to see any of the metadata for the NFTs and sales data.
Yeah, I think I'm sorry, Reese, go ahead. But I think we did touch on this in the Dan and David video. That is absolutely in the pipeline, and we really hope to get that out sooner than later. I think in addition to like what you've seen with the latest update with the vault valuation rather, we are planning to put out some more robust tools to kind of track the data, the sales data, except metadata, etc., so that it's more. Once interoperability comes, we have all of that information that we can refer to. Maurice, did you have a little more color on that?
Yeah. So just for anyone who didn't quite pick that up, it's kind of two separate things that require a very similar build, I guess. So API access, we need to move that access essentially and that link to our databases to its own independent server and database, so that people can build these tools, but it's not overloading our own systems and the app. And similarly, that metadata on the IMX, on a Mutascan, is a link back to our databases as well. Now, look, they're on the list, but as we've kind of said, this AMA, they're lower priority at the moment than the web platform, the KYC, the payout. So they're our absolute focus to get done at the moment. That's what the devs are all working on. And once that's kind of out of the way, we can look to open up these other integrations. But I personally am super excited for that. I know there's a lot of people that hit me up for it all the time, a lot of tools waiting to be built. So it's only going to benefit the entire community when it's ready to go.
Sounds. Last couple. Do we have a number on our monthly active users and how we're defining active users now?
Yeah, I think the last number we had was 2.6 million.
Now, look, that's a few. I think that's a couple months old at this point. I don't have the updated numbers. I'll look into that though.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of people have second or third accounts, so I don't know how many individual people that is, but I think we're definitely climbing those ranks still. There's a lot of competition on drops, that's for sure.
Cool. And the last one I got comes from Whamrot. He's saying, we've seen Kit, we like Kit. We're going to get those flashing lights across the front of the car.
Alex?
Wait a minute.
You had an update on that?
The flashing light on the front of the car isn't animated?
I think it was an update that was coming, if it hasn't rolled out already.
You know what? Sorry, I wasn't even aware because I didn't get in the drop. So, sorry.
Is that why you just like, I didn't get it, so to hell?
Yeah,
you didn't get it,
therefore
we don't get
I hate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I'll look into that because in theory it should go whoosh whoosh, right?
Yeah.
And I did notice the sound was a little crazy on it. I think there were going to be some updates because I believe the sound was constant and it shouldn't have been constant. So I've already put that request in. But yeah, let me dig into that for you. I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I think I've seen it in our creative chat, and it is on the way.
Okay.
Along with the DeLorean controllability update too. So they're probably the collectibles that you'll see some little changes on, just so that everyone's aware of that. But we'll tweak when that goes live too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just wrapping it up here. Mike, Collectibles, did you figure it out? Still with us?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. Sorry, did I miss you guys a few minutes ago?
Yeah, man. I
right.
had a whole conversation about how heartbreaking the Lakers season was, and then you didn't even answer.
Oh my gosh, and you guys still kept me here. I can't even believe it. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I've been listening to this whole thing. Awesome questions. Thanks so much for letting me ask a question. My question was about marketing and promotions and everything of Vivi. So if anyone knows me, I'm super positive about the app. I'm telling everybody I can. I'm out there. I'm in comic book shops, collector shops. Hey, have you heard about this? Have you seen that? I was just wondering if you guys could chat a little bit about, your marketing plans for the future to get the promotion out. Because we know that not a lot of people are here compared to in the collector community, especially in comic books, right? So are you guys partnering with your with the partners that you have, the IPs that you have? Maybe are they doing marketing, TV spots, commercials, social media advertising, all this stuff in the future? Maybe would you be able to talk a little bit about that? Because I'd love to see more and more and more people come in here, even though I know it does put a strain on you guys, right? So thanks so much. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Thank you for that. And it's been a good hot minute since somebody asked when marketing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that said, yes, absolutely. There are large scale or kind of long-term marketing plans that we're working on. Obviously, I think I've said this in Spaces or some other places before, but there are some things that I want to make sure are checked off the list so that we can bring people into a better experience. And obviously, web platform, payout, KYC. I think we need to get all of those things shipped and out the door before we start bringing another large amount of people onto the platform. Obviously, when we brought Disney on board and some of the promotions and marketing that we did around the Disney Plus promotion and Golden Moments. And NBM and with Bond, with the movie ticket promotion, that brought a new influx of users. But really, when we start to kind of get a sense for who is here to be collectors and who the audience is that isn't going to just peace out after payout's available, then we can get a better sense of some of the kind of longer term kind of paid social outreach that we're doing. I have entire plans and strategies around this already. It's just a matter of kind of digging deeper into the data once we have like I think what the market and what the app is supposed to be from a full functionality standpoint, right? In addition to that, I've mentioned on this call that we are still looking at other ways to introduce utility, either via promo code, either movie ticket tie-ins or other things that would bring audience in to the platform for redemption of an NFT that may have not heard of Vivi before. And maybe fans of specific IP or fandoms for specific movies, etc., characters. All of that still kind of falls under the marketing umbrella, so we're looking at those opportunities. But I think in terms of like commercials, I don't know. That's still probably a ways off. I don't think we'll do that for the foreseeable future, but I would love at some point to have, a television commercial. I think everybody was asking us if we were going to have a Super Bowl commercial, and I think that just would have been a colossal waste of money, in my opinion, for this last Super Bowl. But I think we'll get there eventually. And I think really what we're going to focus on is more robust content creation. We have our social that basically is like a broadcast hose for drops for the most part, and mea culpas as of late. But I think we're part of my strategy here is to kind of build out the entire content marketing strategy so that we're there's basically just kind of two of us running the show here, and a lot of that is done. A lot of that time is spent in moderation of the channels as well. Discord and Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc. And so I'm actually expanding my marketing team so that I can actually focus on some of these larger scale marketing initiatives and not have to, deflect rocks on Twitter.
Exactly right. One little breadcrumb that I may add to that. People may have heard it in the most recent Dan and David video, but David did mention that we have some partnerships with some pretty big toy companies as well. So really trying to tie in with that physical product, physical digital marriage, which is a much more targeted way to bring people into the app as well, right? If they're already buying a product that maybe comes with a redeemable NFT or something like that, it's a very easy way to onboard. Rather than sort of the big say it and spray it commercials, I think we're aiming to be more targeted in those attempts.
Yeah, I think a little more settled, depending on who you are, in terms of like marketing is, things and relationships like with movie releases. Obviously, is we've seen that, but like Marvel, placing a breadcrumb essentially with every comic release. I think for fans in the know, I think you basically see what they're doing time and time again with introducing characters in comic form that are obviously going to have bigger implications in the larger scale Marvel plans and MCU. But even things like Coke, it's a little more obvious. This Coke Starlight drop is going out with this new flavor of theirs, and we hope to kind of continue on that path with some other brands, bringing new people to the platform. All right.
Yeah. Cool. Oh. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. It's been like I said, it's been a minute since I've talked market. So
that's it. That's it.
Also, marketing, isn't just commercials. Obviously, everything we do here, from licensor tie-ins to social to whatever else is, I consider marketing.
Yes.
But I think we have, we're going to wrap it up here in about 5 minutes. So let's maybe get to one last one. And I always like, when available, I always like to bring him on for a little bit of.
Tutti Frutti.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I somehow knew that was coming.
Hey! Hey, shout out to everybody, man, the VV fans emoji, man. What up? What up? Hey, what up? Reese, long hair, don't care.
How are you, man?
Hey, what up, Alex? Hey, man. So I didn't know about these drops like this that y'all hit me over the head with this weekend. I committed a lot to the sellout yesterday in Moon Knight. So I'm just letting you guys know I'm expecting a little bit of animation with Moon Knight. I don't care if he stomps his foot, okay? I didn't know about these drops this weekend. Just letting you know that.
Both of them have glowing eyes, don't they?
Hey, I need a wave or something, bro. I need some air in the tape. hey, no, but I do have a question, and maybe you touched on it. Did I hear that it's gonna take 12 months for you guys to sweep these floors with the bots, whatnot?
No.
Okay.
12 months in, I think, what's the estimation in which we would be able to fully reclaim or communicate what we're doing with the collectibles that were caught up in those disabled accounts. Because it's not. In fact, nightly, in theory, nightly there is a wave of accounts removed or delisted from the market. But again, that's kind of a manual process. But that is happening nightly.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah. Did that make sense?
Yeah, man. Totally. Yeah, cool. But is there a timeline on that? Like, as far as like what you got? I mean, what you guys are looking for, and like
timeline on what in particular? Like,
go ahead.
I said timeline on what in particular? Removing?
Yeah, removing them. Like, like how long does it take? Because like for me, like I'm adhering to like what you said as far as like trying not to buy from the bots. So like right now, like you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know what you think. So
yeah, I get it. Again, removing these things nightly as we investigate them. So we basically have to. Again, I get tied up in my weird analogies, but untangling the web of each of these farms and then submitting them for delisting after they're confirmed. So it's like a two-step kind of confirmation process. There's the people that are going through daily and identifying all of the accounts and sub-accounts and feeder accounts, etc., and then handing those off to the head developers for verification and delisting. And that is happening nightly. It's not like there's usually hundreds of accounts per delisting. Obviously, there's a lot of work to do on that front. So we would appreciate your patience on that. But it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, and that's specifically to the market, right? Once these accounts are identified as bots, we restrict them straight away and disable them. It's just a delisting of their active market listings, happens nightly. But in terms of overall bot protections, that's a 24/7 ongoing thing, right? And we're always upgrading those systems to combat them in the first place, let alone just delist them from the market.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you guys so much, man. Again, thank you guys for what you guys continue to do for the community. Big shout out to everybody out there, man, that's, holding down spaces and being a part of the spaces, man. You guys know who you are. There's so many of you. I really do appreciate 100%. Everybody in the community, man, for real. So thank you guys so much. And let's keep this ball rolling, man.
Definitely.
Great. Thank you, sir. I always appreciate the positivity. And yes, I concur. Shout out to the people holding it down on spaces on a daily basis. And also shout out to the people who realize just quickly that this space is not a competition. We're really excited to see the likes of, Recurrent Hero doing their thing. All boats rise. I think we just need to get our proper place back in that hierarchy with some of these big ticket items. But I think once we do, you'll be glad you stuck around.
For sure. And look, understandably, they've been watching our journey, right? And can implement those big ticket items before they roll out their platforms and things like that. And now, conversely, we'll follow their journey and see if they figure out some better stuff that we can implement. Basically,
yeah.
It's all
competition is a good thing. It's always a good
100%,
thing. I'm not hating on any of that.
No.
But all right,
we're all part of the Immutable fam at the moment, right?
Exactly.
There, and
so what is it? Help me out here. Can you sell your hero for OMI?
Yes, I believe so. So you can use OMI on the IMX marketplace now. I think Token Trove is also going to add that ability, so you have more utility for your tokens there as well, in case anyone wasn't aware of that. But it's great. It's great to see really our early assumptions about Immutable X, because nobody knew who they were when we first announced them sort of 9 months ago. To see the quality of projects and just the volume that is taking place on that protocol now is affirming, to say the least. Yeah, really exciting.
Cool. All right, that's taking us to the half-hour or hour and a half mark.
Hey, hold on, one more shout out, man. Shout out to Pyro and the bot bounty hunters, bro. Hey, hey, thank you guys, man, for real.
100%.
All right, that's
100%.
Thank you, Kenobi. All right. As always, I appreciate everybody coming today. We're going to try to obviously keep these on the schedule, do these every 2 weeks or so, in addition to Dave and Dan's monthly video update. Look, you know, we have a lot of work to do to not only keep and regain the positive sentiment and trust. We understand that. We are not, again, to use the Dan phrase, resting on our laurels. This is not a MF rug pull. Like, I don't know where that's coming from. We are all moving towards a singular goal, and that is to make this the best experience, digital collectible experience possible. So again, appreciate everybody. Thank you for joining us today. This space has been recorded. Feel free to go back and listen to it in case you want to, make fun of Reese's accent or whatever the case is. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, fam. Appreciate it.